Hi, court reporters. Welcome back to my channel. It is time for a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Vanderpump Rules' reunion, part 1. I've been seeing you guys in the comment section. Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were waiting for Zachary Reality. He is going to be joining us for this recap, but he's not yet here. But we do have one of our besties to the show, Kempire, here. Let me pull him up.
Hey.
Hey, boo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I missed you. It's been a while.
No, the last time we actually did something together was the podcast episode where you were telling me your experience with Vanderpump Rules over the years. So, I just started getting into it since the scandal of it all. So it's been a while.
It has. I'm so happy we found something like that fits, for both of us. And let me tell you guys, if you don't listen to Kempire's let me say it like a podcast yet. You have to. I'm obsessed. Every time I see a new episode, I get so excited. I know all of his sponsors because I'm like so into it.
Someone I know that listens to the podcast for the very first time, we're reiterating. I was like, oh, so whoa, you really did listen. we know you listen to all the podcasts, including Reasonably Shady, and we don't know why you do that to yourself.
And let me tell you, Reasonably Shady is a painful podcast to listen to. I really cannot stand it. That's probably the worst.
We appreciate it when we do our RHOP recaps because, we don't have to listen. You, Layla and I don't have to listen to it. You do it for us.
I do. I love you guys so much, and I love all the viewers so much. I suffer through it. Let me tell you, it's painful. Now, you guys, listen, as always, we have to rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 10. What did you guys think of part 1 of the reunion special? Because it was very much hyped. I was worried it wasn't going to be that good just because the cast started talking and all these different podcasts and stuff. And so I was a little worried, but I thought it was pretty good. I would rate it a 9.5. What about you, Kempire?
Wow. I wasn't expecting a 9.5. Honestly, after I watched it last night initially, and I watched the, Bravo version, because, on Peacock, they have the pumped up version. Yeah. I started watching that. Here's the thing. I really thought it was going to be better than it actually was, but this was only part 1. So I would probably rate this a 7, maybe more like a 6.5, but I'm going to give them a 7 because of the pumped up version.
Okay. So why did it not live up to your expectations?
I don't know. I think because they were just dragging out the inevitable conversations. Look, I get it. People love Lala and James because they're representing their anger for them at this reunion.
Yeah.
But I just found them obnoxious. Okay, more so James than Lala. Lala was saying some things I was like, yes, send it to Dara Girl. But James, he was just obnoxious through it all. And I don't believe that James and Tom were like brothers. I don't believe that, Ariana. Sorry. I don't believe that. No.
Okay. First of all, speaking of Send It to Daryl, I'm a little sad you did not wear your Send It to Daryl hoodie.
No, it's 70 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius. It's 70 degrees here in New York. I mean, I chilled the studio, but still, no.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Your excuse. I do see what you're saying, though. By the way, everybody in the chat, I am loving all the love that we are getting for Kempire. The amount of Kempire stands in here, I love it. Thank you guys for showing out.
Yes.
So I do agree with you that James and Lala come across almost like they want to make this about themselves. I feel like in James's case, he's more upset about the Raquel situation because I think he's still in love with her.
Yes, I think they're still in love.
I don't think he feels the betrayal from Sandoval as much as he feels it from Raquel, but he's trying to make it look like it's the big brother, the this and that. But I will say, Kempire, don't you remember how much money Tom Sandoval spent on James's engagement to Raquel? Don't you think they were close?
I saw that and I just I don't know. I just never got close for them. Look, I'm also rewatching the older episodes. So, I'm originally when I saw how they were introduced to each other, it wasn't a good place. He was dating Kristen James. But I just never viewed them as tight. I felt like they were tight for the show.
Okay. I can get with that. Well, in that vein, I will say for Lala and Ariana, the way that Lala is going so hard for Ariana, I mean, even as recently as last season, she was horrible to Ariana. So it was quite surprising, the about face and the sudden BFF, I'm going to ride for her situation.
And I think the fans see through it as well. But their anger and their disgust for Tom is so strong, rightfully so, because just when you see the amount of ways that he's trying to justify but yet apologize, you can't just help but look at him like, you're disgusting. You're disgusting.
I know.
So that, I think, is just the lesser of the three evils that we see on this cast.
I completely agree. We're going to put a pin in it for a second and get right back to it. We got our first super chat from DM Rocks. Yes, Kempire, I'm on it this time.
Yes.
Thank you,
get
DM.
that point.
Exactly. DM says, hey, I can't believe Lisa Vanderpump was defending Tom. I agree. I did a TikTok about this. Maybe it was rude, but I said she was a geriatric pick-me.
Grace.
I know, but it's the truth. I feel like she's such a guy's girl. Like the fact that she gave these men all of these restaurants and opportunities and stuff, but never the women. And then she always rides for them. Like it's giving pick me.
Yeah. And look, and woman hater. I feel like a lot of people are saying that about Lisa, but I also think Lisa plays an important role in the dynamic of this reunion, because if everybody was slamming Tom, I don't know what that would look like. And we also have to remember that she loves all of these people. She's seen them all grow up. So I'm sure it's still a very difficult situation to be like, yes, what you did was wrong, but all of you guys don't have any room to talk. But not a geriatric pick-me.
I know. I can be so bad. I'm working on it, you guys.
Look, so is Tom. Tom is working on himself right now.
Exactly. And I do see what you're saying, which is so true. It was a huge pylon. Even when Tom attempted, like, the fake tears and stuff and the way everyone jumped down his throat, Lisa did need to kind of like have a little bit of control over that. I think she tried harder than Andy, and Andy was the host, right?
Yeah, well, you know how Andy is. But that's the thing. And I feel like everyone, it really is like mob mentality. Yeah. And I hate that, because I see that so much, especially in the Bravo universe. Everybody, as soon as they find their villain, they're ready to attack that person. And look, they're ready to attack LVP. Y'all better sit down. This is her show.
Well, is it her show for long? Because listen, when they started, they were in their 20s. Now these people are in their 40s or in their the juniors are now in their 30s. And they're not working for her or anything like that, really like that. Do you think she still has a place, or did Lala kind of show that like she doesn't? Like she kept clapping back at her.
Let's be honest, and let's call a thing a thing. At the end of the day, if these producers want to move forward with anyone, it's not going to be Lala.
Yeah.
Just saying. Lala brought it, especially this season, but at the end of the day, it's still LVP's show. LVP has that fan base. Those people, they may not agree with how she was conducting herself with the whole Sandoval situation, but at the end of the day, they're going to want LVP more than Lala any day.
I can agree with that. And I did see a comment from Jasmine earlier. She had asked, she didn't ask, it was a comment. She was saying that LVP was doing damage control for her business's sake. Do you agree with that?
I've seen a lot of people say that. And that also makes sense too, because I'm sure it affected Tom in a slight bit. But look, I have some sources that have been to Schwartz and Sandy. Schwartz and Sandy is not doing bad now. They're fine. They were packed out just the other night.
This is true. Okay.
They're okay.
This is true. Oh, by the way, you guys.
Show.
Exactly. I see Zachary Reality is here. I'm going to bring him up. And Mac, you were so right. Before this Sandoval, and I talked about it on Kempire's podcast, I was a big fan of Tom Sandoval. I did not understand why people didn't like him, but now I see it.
Hey, I'm so sorry I'm late. I got my EST and PSTs confused.
Oh, no problem. I figured. I was telling them earlier that you were traveling. You were bi-coastal like Mia from RHOP.
You know what? No, he was really
bi-coastal. Got back. Yeah, I just got back yesterday from New York. I was gone like 2 weeks, so I'm like just trying to get back into the mix. But I watched the reunion last night, and then I watched it again today on Peacock, because there was like a lot that wasn't in last night's episode. It was like an extra 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot of cursing.
Yeah, I like that. I like the uncensored version better.
And so, Zach, if you had to rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
It was a 10. I thought the reunion was so good. I just can't wait for the next part. Every time it ends, I'm like, this is why I like to binge, because I hate waiting another week.
It's true. It's true. So you guys, now I have to ask, what did you think about the pre-reunion sit down? This was the first time in Vanderpump Rules history where that happened. To me, it didn't hit. Like, it wasn't all that, but maybe you guys have a different opinion. Let's start with you, Kempire.
I agree with you until as you go further into the reunion where you catch Tom Sandoval in a lie about the dates. So then I was just like, oh, well, maybe we needed this pre-interview. So at first I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but no, it might help us in part 2 and part 3 as well.
Okay. Here's the thing about the dates that I did not understand, because when he did the sit down, what's his face? Sandoval, he said something happened in August, but then what was like the conflict with January and August? Why would he willing to announce something in August, but not stand by the affair in August? I was confused about that.
Well, I think, look, here I go. Y'all gonna call me LVP in a second. Well, here's what I think he was trying to say is that they had that one night stand after the Abbey in August. And then they just sort of like, no, we're not going to do that again. We're awful people. And then in January is when it picked back up. Like, well, let's try it one more time.
Yeah. See, I think the sit downs are important. It didn't really hit either, I think, in part 1. But I think that, like Kempire said, like it will come into play because they're all screaming at Tom Sandoval. Like he can't really sit there without everyone wanting to punch him in the face. So I think that it's important to hear all sides of the story without any distractions. So that's why the sit downs were important. But it did feel a little bit like awkward. But it still will come into play, I think.
Yeah, as like kind of like the episodes progress, right? I am so excited. Okay, so really like quickly into it. What does Tom Sandoval tell Andy Cohen? He claimed that he felt more like Ariana's gay BFF.
That's not you. That's Logan. Logan is her gay BFF.
Right. It just felt so random and funny. Like I was like gagging on my couch. Like, why would he say that? Like he keeps throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. And now this is where he's at. Like, really?
That's so funny. Did he ever say that to her? That's the thing. It sounds as if he never expressed these concerns to her. At least this time he didn't say, oh, she always coming at me. I think she thinks I'm stupid.
Yep. Same MO every time.
There's a lot, I think, that is just like he's getting called out on because he did the Howie Mandel interview like a month ago. And it's not that I believed everything he said or that other people did, but it definitely made me think like, wow, like maybe he did try and break up with Ariana. Maybe she did threaten, to harm herself. Like there was definitely some questions that led me to be concerned about Ariana's like well-being and like if she truly was in the relationship or not. So with the finale last week, when she was like, I was fully committed to you up until 2 days ago, and then everything is being called out on the reunion, it's very, very interesting. And he's just getting called out and being proven to be a liar. Sandoval's a liar. Sandoval's a liar.
I wonder if that comes up at the reunion in regards to her possibly threatening to do that to herself. I wonder if that comes up at the reunion because that would be interesting to hear her response.
She did talk about it on Call Her Daddy though, and she said that it wasn't true.
Oh well, then
yeah, on Call Her Daddy, she said that the thing that he said on Howie Mandel that was true was that she did say that she would quit the show and whatnot, but it wasn't in a threatening, my life is over way. It was like, you know what? My time on the show revolves around you. So if I no longer have you, I'm going to go to the south of France, and just like live my life quietly. And he kind of misconstrued that purposely for the public, which I found pretty interesting, to be honest with you guys. And so I want you guys to let me know in a quick second here about Ariana. How did she come across to you in the reunion and in the one-on-one? I just want to thank MC Hoya for the super chat. I think it's a super sticker, but thank you so much. So I do wonder, so I will give you guys an example. I don't really feel 1,000% bad for Ariana when it comes to the Tom Sandoval thing, because I always say she fought to have this cheating no good man. Okay. She wanted him. She knew he was a cheater when she found him. And so what happened? He cheated on her just like he cheated on Kristen, and literally the exact same way. And not only that, but like when she was the other women, she was trying to convince us all on television and Kristen herself that she was crazy, that she was mentally ill, like all this horrible stuff. She truly was a horrible person this season. And so now to come to find out, like the Miami girl, she was in on that. She knew the man cheated. I don't believe her version of events, which is that they weren't exclusive. Give me a break. I think they were exclusive, and she's trying to save face there, which is, again, her lying. I don't consider her to be trustworthy after this reunion. I want to know what you guys think.
No. See, I think it's interesting because, like, when you first start dating someone, even if you really like them, like, you know, sometimes you date for 3-4 months before you put on that title. So I think that's kind of what she was referring to. So I have to disagree with you, Grace.
But he lied about it. He lied that he actually even slept with Miami girl.
But he told Ariana, and she knew, and then she said that she covered for him because she didn't want everyone to think he was a jerk. But I do think that they should have just admitted it, because if she was okay with that happening however long ago, then there was no reason to cover it up. Like, what you guys weren't exclusive. It makes sense to me. Like, fine. Like, he hooked up with someone when you were still talking, but didn't make it official yet.
So what about the other affairs that the other affair they admitted to having? I don't believe it was just one other affair. I believe it was multiple.
And I think she turned a blind eye to it. You know, I just don't trust her, to be honest with you, her version of events.
But here's the thing. Ariana is coming out gold with this. So she's all kinds of opportunities are happening for her because of this. So I agree with you, Grace. I don't think she's completely innocent or, like you said, trustworthy in regards to how all of this is playing out. But again, lesser of all the evils here is Ariana.
Absolutely. She is coming out like on top with all of this, so she'll be just fine. Speaking of, Lady with Schwartz has a comment here. When Andy called them all out for cheating, what did you guys think about their responses? They said none of their situations were the same. James's excuse was that he was 25, too young for that to really matter. What was Lala's excuse? That she wasn't best friends with Raquel. Do you think that their excuses passed the sniff test, or is cheating? I'll start with you, Zach.
I mean, this scandal can't compare to anyone else's situations. This is the worst that it's been. Raquel hooking up with Tom. Like, this is the worst that compares to everyone else's situations. So I do stand behind Lala and James in that aspect. You know, obviously they're not innocent either, but their situations were, like Lala said, so many years ago. It's like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about it now. And clearly Lala and James have both grown so much since their situations and since those many years ago. So yeah, they can have an opinion and they can, stand behind that. We're talking about what's going on right now.
Have they really grown so much? Like, because I'm literally watching the old season and I'm watching the current season, and I'm like, I see the same people, especially with Poo Poo Head. Oh, well, he calling people Poo Poo Head. James Kennedy and his behavior. Oh, I'm going to be in a timeout. Or maybe.
You can't even. I think that obviously, neither of them are perfect. But if you see James and Lala today on this season and like everything that they've gone through, like they're not the same as they were 5 years ago.
Oh, that's good work.
Kempire, I missed you.
I personally feel like, in Lala's situation, for example, there was a marriage and children involved. You know what I mean? So it's not nothing on that side. And then it's like you're the one cheating on your own partner, which I think is worse than the best friend. You know what I mean? Creeping behind the back. Same thing with James. Like, cheating on your own partner is worse than whatever the other person does. So from that perspective, I don't really think their excuses pass the sniff test, to be honest with you.
Well, here's the thing. I do believe the whole Sandoval situation is the worst that we've seen on this show. It's definitely without doubt, because it seems so calculated. It seems so disgusting. It's a whole other level, especially when you look at the whole Rachel part of it, trying to be friends with the person. Like, it's just like that whole part makes it the worst. But they're all terrible human beings. And I think that's the hard part for a lot of people, because it's like, well, this one's just ridiculous, but they're all terrible. And they've had all kinds of issues over the years. But how long ago was this cheating with Lala and James Kennedy? I know Rachel just found out about it this season, though.
Which is crazy how she just found out. Yeah, so I guess it happened when in the very beginning of Raquel and James's relationship, which lasted 5 years. So I guess in the first year.
Yeah.
But it's different because Lala and Raquel weren't friends. And when Lala was hooking up with Randall, she wasn't friends with Randall's ex-wife. So that's what makes this so much worse.
Here's the thing though, like I still, even if I wasn't friends with Lala, and if I wasn't friends with Rachel, I would never have my man around them. And I'm gay, and I still wouldn't have my man around them.
I'm with you. Honestly, all of them, including Ariana. I would not have my man around a single one of them either. And my man can even speak English. How about that?
Well, you already know. You don't need to speak English to do the do. So
that's true.
Translation
very
after
true.
all. Not that I know.
90 Day Fiancé showed us that. Now, you guys, speaking of Lala, she kind of, to me, was a star in this reunion. And for example, she called Tom Sandoval a dangerous man. And I want to know if you guys felt that was accurate or if you were more on LVP side, because LVP was like, Lala, you're being ridiculous. You're taking it too far. Where do you fall on that?
I'm somewhere like in the middle. I think that there is something really dangerous about lying to your partner for 7 months straight and the amount of depths he went to it. Like, that is a very manipulative person that is capable of looking you in the eye and lying for that long. So there definitely is something pretty dangerous about that. And like, that's not someone that I would want to be around. But I also don't think that Sandoval is as deceptive or devious as Randall is.
That's the thing. And I think that's where I think that this was just a miscommunication between Lala and LVP. I think LVP was thinking, well, Randall's being accused of being like a mini Harvey Weinstein, not even mini. He's being accused of being a Harvey Weinstein type person, maybe without the money. But I think that's what she's thinking of when she's defending, like, oh, Lala, don't compare him to your ex that's being accused of SA and all this other stuff. But like Zach said, I do believe the type of behavior that Tom Sandoval has exhibited over the years, not just in this incident, over the years, it's kind of dangerous. Like I said before, I wouldn't keep my man around any of these folks, including Tom Sandoval, because he's the gay BFF.
He is.
Yes. And, you know, I think that that's the thing. I feel like sometimes people, when they think danger, they're thinking more physical, but I think there's a lot of emotional harm and psychological harm that he has done here that, like, I think I get Lala's perspective on. But like you're saying there, Kempire, like the whole Randall comparison, it goes back to my earlier point, which is that Lala, I feel like she's so triggered by this, which she admits. She's throwing like her own situation because she was cheated on and whatnot, and making it kind of about herself. I don't think she's doing it consciously, but maybe subconsciously because it's still fresh to her as well, which I felt like was quite sad. And I think that that's what makes this the scandal so popular with people, is that so many of us have like been in a situation like this or heard of a situation like this, like through our friends or our loved ones. What was that?
I was about to say, I was like, I have never been in a situation like this.
Me neither, but
you guys are lucky. I've already gone over this story enough times. Yeah, so to me, sometimes I see like, you know, like my own kind of situation in this, having, you know, been cheated on like this. Yeah. So how did you guys feel about everyone jumping down Tom Sandoval's throat when he was trying to, like, you know, open the floor with the wobbly voice and the non-existent tears? Were they too harsh on him?
It's hard. Because it's like, no, right? Like, they're pissed. They also just found out about this, like, what, 2.5 weeks before the reunion was filmed. So clearly the emotions are fresh. But I also think if we are at a reunion, you can't interrupt people. And no matter how much respect you have for them or not, like, you still have to have some, just to let them speak. But it's hard when it's just such bullshit and they know that right away.
Yeah.
And I think James specifically came there to perform. And that's exactly what he was doing. He came there to perform. He was going to give us the histrionics, and that whole fight, that physical fight that was going to happen. If Andy Cohen's little self can hold you back, you're not going to hurt anybody. He was just doing that because he knew someone was going to pull him back. But where was security?
I know. I wondered that too.
Why Andy Cohen security?
It's true. I know. On the Housewives shows, they have a lot more security.
Yes, and these people are more dangerous, I think.
It makes you wonder, right? So on your kind of note there, Kempire, do you think that James put on the biggest performance, or kind of was like the most fake with his emotions for the night?
I mean, well, I think his was more obvious. Tom Sandoval clearly is lying, and it's not being 100%. But the one that wasn't convincing was James Kennedy.
Okay.
But isn't that James's personality to just be like so over the top and get into it? I feel like that's just who he is.
I don't like it. I don't find him entertaining, but I do know that people do find it entertaining, and they probably were fully entertained by that behavior last night. And I was just like, shut up, go sit down. Like, what are you doing? Like, I want to get to the nitty gritty. I want to get to how this all started, where y'all were doing it, was she in the house when y'all, like, I want to get to that. I don't care about you over here calling people poopy heads. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was a couple times where James inserted himself when it wasn't about him. And I think he's just probably really eager to call out Sandoval because he felt betrayed by him as a friend.
Yeah,
I can see that. And you know what? In that vein, I got to ask you, how did you feel about him stepping in for Katie a couple of times against Tom Schwartz? Did you think that was genuine, Zach? Or was that a part of his, like, I just want to attack Sandoval? Anyone I can use to kind of like go after him with, I will use them.
I mean, I think James also feels the responsibility now as the number one guy in the group to defend all of the girls, especially because when he says it might hit different because the Toms have been talking ish for so long. And it's just like the constant cover ups. And even when they say things, they're just always trying to finagle ways around it. So it's kind of nice that James is like, cut the crap. Like he didn't say anything all season to the Toms. I mean, I guess that with Schwartz he did, but I mean, he really like kind of kept it, you know, separate. He let the girls fight with Toms. He didn't get overly involved. So I think now he probably feels that it's time to cut the bullshit.
I agree. Are you on the same page, Kempire?
No. Here's the thing. I just, because the whole number one guy in the group situation, yes, he is. And before I was against Jax possibly coming back because there's a rumor that he's coming back for next season. But I much rather someone that actually has the energy of being the number one guy to be the number one guy. I don't get number one guy from James Kennedy. I get poo-poo head from I get very just like wannabe from him. So he doesn't have none of them really. The current guys that are on the show don't give me number one guy.
So in saying that, does that mean that the guys from the past gave you that? For example, Jax?
Number one guy in the sense of he carries himself in that way. He has an energy of like, yeah, I'm a leader. The rest of them don't necessarily have that. We need someone of that energy, not necessarily Jax.
Okay. Do you think that's missing as well, Zach? Number one guy energy?
I mean, I kind of want next season to be the girl season. I feel like all these guys have just kind of showed themselves. I'm like, let's just focus on the girls for next season. I think that's how we could move forward. But I mean, who knows? I mean, the show is all about the dating and the hookups. So maybe Katie will have a new boyfriend or Lala next season that we'll kind of bring in. But we definitely need some new masculine energy. And maybe we do need a new number one guy in the group. But right now it's James. So I'm giving it to him.
Love it. Guys, if you're just joining me, I am recapping the Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1 with Kempire and Zachary Reality. They both have amazing YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. They are on every social media outlet for you to consume their content. They talk about pop culture and they do it incredibly and very consistently as well. So please do make sure to give them a follow. I've got links to their pages in the description box and in the title of this video as well. Before I forget, Zach, we're going to get into this after we get into the super chats, but Zach is actually friends with Ali from the show. So hopefully Zach is going to be able to give us a bit of info about James's girlfriend, which I'm so excited about. So let's get into some of these super chats. Thanks for joining my membership, Mchoya. I'm so excited to have you there. Stephanie, thank you so much for your super chat. She says, loving this recap, sending everyone on the panel and in the chat good vibes today because this show is stressful.
Thank you.
Thank you. We need it. And it is indeed stressful. Abu has a super chat as well. Thank you so much, Abu. Abu says, if you have the capacity to manipulate, gaslight, betray your partner like that, you are a present danger to your partner's mental and emotional health. I 1000% agree. I feel like, yeah, we can all agree with that for sure. And I think that that's what Lala meant, but it was ironic because she did the same thing, right? In her own relationship with Randall, you know, so.
Also physical too, because look, STDs are real.
That's true. That's true. That is very, very true. I completely agree. Now, Zach, you are friends with Ali from the show. And so I just wanted to know how she's doing right now. Is she like okay? Like post like her debut on the show? How is she feeling?
I mean, I think she's doing pretty well, like overall. She's honestly benefited from having such a small role on the show. You know, in her astrology business, she's been booking a lot of clients, and I think that I think she did a really good job this season because she stayed out of the drama. You know, I think that there was probably times where maybe people wanted her to get more involved. And I think that she just really knew her place and she, you know, stood by her man. And I think you'll see that next week on the finale when she comes out, she's going to stand by James. You can definitely expect that. But I think overall, I think she's doing great. Obviously, it's been frustrating, I think, at times as her friend, just because of all the noise. Like even some of the stuff people say about her, which is just so irrelevant considering how much hate other cast members are getting. But it definitely was an adjustment for her this season, just because I don't think she was like used to that. The show is so big, and we didn't even know how big the show was going to be. We didn't even know if it was going to come back when she first started dating James. So overall, I think she's doing pretty well.
Yeah. And speaking of her astrology business, has she ever given you a reading? I want to know. She'll put the coins in for that.
She's so booked. Like she won't even give me a reading. Like I swear to God, I have not gotten a reading from her yet.
For you? Like when you guys are having a drink? Come on, Allie.
Well,
yeah, show her your palm.
I know, right? We definitely like talk about astrology like all the time, but she's never like given me like a full sit down reading. So I'm hoping that she does that soon.
I love it because listen. Did you not take her to meet James at the Canyon Club anyway? A little reading wouldn't hurt.
Yes, that was me. Did you watch that, Kempire? She said, my friend Zach on episode 3 or 4. She mentioned me. I'm the friend Zach. I know. Not everyone knew, but it was me. Yeah.
Well, do you think you'll have a walk-on role next season? Since you're real friends with her?
It's possibly. I mean, I did bring her to meet James, which I think I already clarified this, but I was invited to the show as a content creator to promote the band. So that's kind of how we ended up going backstage. So Allie was one of my +1s and I brought her to the show and then we met James. So it was just kind of like everything really did happen organically. There was like, you know, no one expected.
Let's hope this relationship works out
on the show.
Let's hope this relationship works out or she'll be blaming you.
Oh my God, right? No, honestly, this was her decision. She's dated him and, you know, I love James too. Obviously I've gotten to know him. So, you know, maybe I'll pop up next season for like a coffee date or something if she needs someone. Obviously I love reality TV, but of course, you know, I wouldn't have a role on this show either because it's not about me. It's about a friend group that Allie's barely involved in. So maybe, you know, you could see me doing like a background or a coffee scene possibly, but I don't know.
New blood though. They do need some new blood. We need to, especially for next season, we can't harp on this same Sandoval all season next season. They have to really start shifting this cast.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I do think they're going to bring Jax back. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm getting that vibe as well. Just really quickly, last question on this topic. Zach, have you gotten to hang out with James since Allie started dating him? Like, what is he like? I imagine him being very high strung. Is he more chill in person?
He's definitely more chill in person. Like, listen, Allie is actually one of my best friends. So we've been friends over 3 years. I've been in LA like 3.5. So I met Allie like 6 months in. So she truly is one of my closest friends in LA. So of course I've gotten to hang out with James and, you know, I've slept at their house before, like, of course. So James is, he's really attentive with Allie. Like he's the type of boyfriend that will get her water if she's like even the simple things, but like, he's just very attentive and caring. And I think you kind of saw that a little bit this season, like how much he loves her. Obviously, you know, he'll pet his hair and stuff, but of course he is a little extra too. I do think he's a lot more normal off camera than on camera, but I also think that's part of the show that elevates the with the editing and everything too. And it's also his job. So I think there's a lot that kind of goes into it. But you know, we're definitely able to just kind of like chat like normal people and not even talk about the show, you know?
Yeah.
Has it affected their relationship, the show? Now that she's on the show and everyone has their viewpoints about their relationship and saying that he's still in love with Rachel. Has that affected her?
I think the show definitely added drama. Allie obviously has seen the show before, so she knew what she signed up for. When they started dating, we didn't know if the show was coming back, because remember how bad the season was before. So obviously, I think we kind of laugh at a lot of things, because I think that we know that he's not in love with Raquel. So I think that some of the stuff and the storylines are just part of the show. So I don't really think that it's been that much of an issue. Like Allie truly has stayed out of the drama, and her and James's relationship has truly stayed out of the drama. So I did tell her, I'm like, next season, hopefully there's no like spotlight. Otherwise, you know, it could be your turn for everyone to just dissect everything, because the show makes everyone's life problems so much bigger than they actually are.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. Now, speaking of big problems, what did you guys think about Raquel sitting in the trailer 100 yards away, having like as a fan cam? Was that like interesting to you guys? Like, I've never seen that before.
It was funny. It was funny. It was perfect. And I don't think she thought that that's how this was going to play out. I think she probably thought that she was going to be at the reunion and Scheana might not be, or she would be the one in a trailer. So I love the fact that producers did it the other way around. She deserved that.
Same here.
See, I thought it was so funny, but I'm like such a skeptic. So I'm like, I hope they're not editing in her facial expressions at certain parts. Like I wanted a genuine. Yeah, so that's what's frustrating about the cam. If she's going like when it's at like when it's not the moment she actually went like, then I'm like, I would have rather seen anyone else on a cam who gave me more. She gave nothing. There was just like the one part that was good when she was like, I'm dying to know this question, because it almost seems like she's trying to know what lies Sandoval was telling Ariana, because she might not have been all the way cued in.
Yeah, I saw this tweet. I wish I got a screenshot of it, but like there was this one moment where she was like this with her hands on her head. And like people were like, wow, she looks like she's watching like a sports game, and her team is losing. Absolutely.
Literally. Your team
also I know that so after Allie comes out, I know that she watched the reunion with Scheana and Brock in the trailer too. So when Raquel comes out, then the three of them will go into the trailer to watch the rest of the show. So I mean, I don't think they're gonna get a cam, but that would be funny too.
Oh,
I would love that. That would be absolutely hilarious. I find her to be one of those very unintentionally kind of funny people.
Dumb? You mean? Look, we mean dumb.
Yeah, basically. So, you know, Zach just kind of touched on this, but he was saying that, you know, it was interesting to see maybe she had some reactions just to try and figure out like what lies Tom Sandoval might have been telling her. There was this one thing that was like going crazy on social media, which was when Scheana said that Sandoval and Ariana were banging a lot in January, and she seemed a bit shocked by that. Did you guys feel that same way?
Yeah, she seems shocked.
Yeah. Oh, I just don't even think it. When you think about the depths of how disgusting this cheating was, like you said, it's triggering. Even if you haven't been cheated on or been in a relationship like this, it's like, oh God, I just can't even imagine that happening next door.
I know.
No,
it's so disgusting. That he was in bed with Ariana, goes to the guest room, fucks Raquel, and then goes back into bed with Ariana, and she has no idea. I'm like, it's kind of crazy how her intuition, you know, whatever, like when she went through his phone, that's when she had the moment. And I'm just like, you could have had so many of these moments. Imagine she woke up when they were fucking in the guest room and then walked in on them. Like she could have found out so many different ways than the way she found out.
And I also don't believe it. Like you were saying, I'm about to call you Rachel. Don't
do that.
No, how dare you?
It's no so Rachel's allowed.
No Rachel's allowed. It's so interesting what you were saying about Ariana. Ariana keeps saying like, oh, I didn't expect, I suspect anything. You trust your partner. And something told you in that moment to check his phone. No, she suspected, I think. And especially because we know that this is not the first time that he cheated. This is not the second time that he's cheated.
Yeah.
It's probably the third or fourth time that he's cheated.
Well, I think she must have known he cheated, but I think the Raquel thing was what really shocked her, which is also still crazy considering the storyline this season about Tom and Raquel months ago. And then everyone's shocked in, what is it, March, February when this comes out. It's just so crazy because it's like, I feel like everyone was onto this for months, but I guess once it came out, everyone was just like, whoa.
And the thing is, when you're at BravoCon, because I was at BravoCon, to know that all of this was happening in BravoCon, and you're like, ew, what is happening?
I was at BravoCon too. I mean, I would have never. I saw Raquel at BravoCon. I saw Tom because I was with James and Allie, so I was around them a little bit. But I mean, I would have never thought about this.
This makes me feel picky. I didn't see anything from people at BravoCon, which is interesting.
What do these people look like in real life? I wonder. Like, for example, I think,
some look good, some don't.
Oh, really? What's making some people look bad? Is it like too much tanning, too much Botox, too much smoking? What is it? The makeup?
Too much makeup. But for the most part, I have to say a lot of the Bravo celebrities look really good in person. I don't know how you felt, Zach, but I felt like the good majority looked really, really good in person.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know who I imagine is so stunning? The girl from Dubai. She's like a model from
Dubai.
Ayan.
Oh yeah. In person, she is stunning.
Yeah, she's stunning. I saw her at I went to one of the Watch What Happens lives at BravoCon, and that's when I saw her. There was like the Shadiest Housewives panel, and then there was another one. Are you guys going to BravoCon in Vegas this year?
I haven't confirmed yet. I've been going, but I just haven't confirmed. Grace, you should go. I know.
Yeah, you have to go. If you've never gone, you have to go. It's so fun.
It's just so far. I don't like leaving. You know, I'm one of those people. I don't like leaving like my Europe bubble. I like being here.
I don't blame you, girl.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
That's fair. Well, and you can travel in Europe probably so easily.
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy. It's so cheap. It's so quick. I'm used to flying in like an hour or 2, 3 max. But like to go all the way there, it'd be like 6+. And like to me, it's like, oh, I'll only do that to go back to Canada.
You'll have to make a trip out of it.
Don't blame you.
Right. Now, you guys, how did you feel about learning that the affair between Tom Sandoval and Raquel started off with like complaints? Tom Sandoval decided to start telling Raquel all of this bad stuff about his relationship after Ariana's dog passed away. And then that's where they started getting emotional. Do you buy that story? Like, do you think it makes sense?
It's hard to say because he's such a liar. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's been trying to make Ariana seem like the problem. Oh, our relationship wasn't great and this and that. And like he's taken no accountability or ownership in this cheating. So it's hard to even go by what he's saying. But I do believe him saying those things to Rachel in order to manipulate the situation for her to feel bad for him. Oh, he's unhappy and I'm sure he was. And I'm sure the relationship she said on this episode that he's making it seem as if our relationship had these problems and we really just kind of gave this certain image to the world. But a lot of fans have said that for years too about their relationship. They didn't believe that the relationship was full of roses and everything like that. So I kind of believe there is some truth to that.
You know, it has seemed platonic for years, to be honest. Like
maybe BFF?
Maybe even that.
It kind of feels like they have been living different parts of, at least from watching the show. It definitely felt like they were living separate lives for a while now. So it's just kind of interesting to see the way it all fell apart. But I also think that like when an affair happens, I guess they became really close friends. And then once he opened up to her, then they started to open up to each other. It's either that or they just fucked when they were drunk.
I feel like that's more likely, to be honest with you. Like, because, you know, they do drugs and stuff. And sometimes that stuff has you feeling warm. And so these things can happen. Warm gets the blood going.
There's just a lot of weird things. Like last night also, when Scheana said, and this was on the extended version, I think, on Peacock, but Scheana said that Tom Sandoval told Raquel that they were in an open relationship.
Yes.
So that's where the open relationship rumor started, because he was telling people that they were in an open relationship. So I just find it interesting that Raquel never brought that up to Ariana since they were such close friends. But then I guess Raquel is such a sneak. She is such a sneak. And I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Like apparently she just kind of takes it and like tries to apologize and just doesn't, which I think is better than what Tom is doing, which is trying to deflect and lie and victim shame. Like apparently Raquel just kind of takes it
I would never trust my man or woman around Raquel going forward. She can take it all she wants this season, but I would never trust her because like Schwartz said during her birthday situation, glamping trip, she has a tendency to take other people's men. Funny enough, by that time, Schwartz knew what he was talking about because he already knew.
Well, let's get into that.
It's
what
so
is it
frustrating with Schwartz.
Right.
He let me down.
Same, I never expected much from this man, to be honest with you, based on the way he treated his wife over the years. But the fact that he would just casually admit that he was taunting who was supposed to be his friend. Ariana was a best man at his wedding, and he did all of this to her, and he like trolled her on TV like this on separate occasions, not only at the camping thing for Raquel's birthday, but also when he told Sandoval, oh, I think Raquel has a crush on someone else. And he kind of just like laughed it off and was not pressed on how diabolical that was. That was really shocking to me, to be honest with you.
Let's be honest, Schwartz hates women.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, Schwartz just doesn't take anything seriously. I think that's the biggest problem with him, is that he just doesn't. Maybe like a couple times you see him like hold a stance on everything, but that's why Katie got so frustrated with him being with him, because he just doesn't take shit seriously. Everything's a joke. Everything can be smoothed over. So I think he just like didn't take this affair seriously, in his comments. He didn't realize how hurtful they were going to be.
And justice for Katie. I look, I understand now why she needed to divorce him. Watching their relationship in the beginning, you're like, oh, it's cute. But as you get older, you need someone that's going to have your back. You need someone that can have those serious conversations when necessary. It's great to have a fun time guy or a fun time girl. However, no, Schwartz, his behavior, it's maybe he needs to start dating men. I'm sorry, Schwartz. I want to see if maybe he'll be different. I don't know. There's something very something off about Schwartz.
He's just really nice. And I think Katie's comment, "You're a serial killer's wet dream," was so fucking spot on, because I've seen Schwartz. He is so nice to everyone. He's literally too nice. It's just like he just gives.
Except women. He's not nice to women.
Exactly. Especially his own wife. He hates that woman. He cheats on her and stuff, and then just like, what would he publicly say? I remember he tried to do like this kind of like cop prank or something. She found it unfunny. And then in front of everyone, he's like, this is why I don't want to like screw you anymore and stuff. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
He wants to screw a guy.
He said some really harsh things. Thank God Katie left him, because I think she can do a lot better, and I think she deserves someone that's going to treat her with a lot more respect. And it's just like, I think the theme on this show, and maybe it's just like reality TV in general, is that a lot of these couples are staying together years after they should, just because they're on the show, because there's paychecks, because you feel like you have to stay with that person. I don't know if the show just keeps the pressure to stay together when you clearly aren't right for each other, but
Zach, let's be honest. We know people in real life that stay in relationships past their expiration date. So I'm sure the show adds an element of that. But I also think that's just human behavior. People just staying in relationships that they know is not working. So, but Katie, if you're watching, or someone clip this and send it to her, stop dating men like Schwartz. That man, what was his name? But he has a new girlfriend.
Handbag.
It's just another carbon copy of Schwartz. Stop date yourself an older man. Try an older man, Katie, or a woman, no judgment.
Katie needs a man that's gonna like really put her in her place, like in a good way.
A mature man.
A mature man.
I agree. I would like to see her with like an older, more established guy who's like on the same timeline as her. Because I know she wanted to have kids and whatnot. I wonder if she thanks her lucky stars that like the kid thing did not work out with Schwartz. Because I feel like if she had kids with him, it would be the ultimate nightmare, So if she finds someone who's actually responsible, she's going to have a great time at motherhood and stuff. I really hope that for her.
How old is Katie?
She's like 35, 34, something like that.
33.
Yeah.
I hope she finds. I think Katie, you need an older man.
Yeah. Well, Satchel was probably a rebound.
Yeah. He got a new girlfriend already. Satchel's booked and busy with his new boo.
No, but did you see Satchel is a champ. He literally sat through the whole Hermosa Beach day and just blinked. He didn't say a word. Apparently he chimed in a couple times, but I mean, Satchel definitely, he's very patient.
He's very patient. Yeah, that's for sure. I wonder if he was nervous. It's like, these are like all these people much older than him and bigger than him. He's like this scrawny, 20-year-old or whatever. What's he going to say to them? And he doesn't, they all know each other. I would be like this too. Like, I'm not really a wallflower, but if I don't know people, I'll be like, all hiding out in myself.
And it's been
poor guy.
And it's being filmed. And it's being filmed. And everyone's turning up for it for the camera. So I can see why he would be like, ooh, especially if you're not ready for that.
I don't want to be dragged on camera. Oh my God, imagine.
It's probably better to say less because you never know how these people are going to edit what you say.
That too. You guys, if you're just tuning in, I am joined by Kempire and Zachary Reality. They are amazing YouTubers, TikTokers, you name it. They cover pop culture very, very consistently. So if you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe and follow their pages. I've got them linked in the title of this video and in the description box as well. Okay, you guys, please, please, please do support them. It's so amazing that they're over here sharing their opinions about the show with all of us. I'm really, really thankful. So please do support them, you guys. You know, there was something that was brought up on the show where even Lisa Vanderpump, who had been defending Tom up until now, she was like, Tom, how creepy is it that you were encouraging your best friend to make out with a girl that you were screwing at that time? And Sandoval claimed that there was nothing weird about that. And I want to know what you guys think about it, because that kind of was shocking to me.
I mean, this friend group, I guess it's not weird for them because they've all hooked up with each other. But he's a weirdo. They're all weird in a way. Again, justice for Katie. She's like the only semi-normal one. I know she's had some mean girl behavior, but he's probably like the only normal one this season, I'll say.
Besides Allie, she's the most normal one.
Oh yeah, well, I feel like main casting.
Yeah, I know. I think that Sandoval might low-key wanna bang Schwartz, and I think that if Raquel and Schwartz kiss, then he can kiss Schwartz through Raquel.
Ooh, a threesome between the three of them. I could see it. Kempire, would you be into it?
There was those rumors.
Into it. No, but I keep saying that Schwartz maybe Schwartz should try dating a guy for once. And we already know Sandoval is the gay BFF, so I wouldn't be surprised that he's kissed the guy. In that way.
I wouldn't. Well, they already have that big photo, remember, at the restaurant of the two of them kissing. I feel like their relationship is very homoerotic.
Guys make no sense to me. Even like throwing it to Jersey when Joe Gorga was trying to kiss Frank Catania's ass and they were making out for a game of golf. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, if you low-key just want to fuck, just say it.
This is how they do it, though. And they make it seem like, oh, we're just playing around.
We're just buddies.
I love that. I always find it so like adorable.
This is why they continue to do it. This is why.
For the female gaze. Now, you guys, speaking of mean girl behavior, Lala did not like when Scheana accused her and Katie of bullying her in the past. She claimed that the word bully is like more pre-K and it doesn't really apply when it comes to reality TV because they all sign up for confrontation. Do you think that's an accurate statement? You guys don't look convinced.
I think I can see both sides. I think I like, you do sign up for confrontation. It's a good line. It's not pre-K, it's Bravo. Like, there are fights and scenes that would not happen if there wasn't a TV show, right? Like, for example, Allie and Raquel probably would have never had those conversations if there wasn't a TV show. But I think that there definitely is a line after a while. And sometimes I do think Lala is really harsh. And it's just like, it's not cool sometimes. Like, sometimes it's too mean.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it was a great line and it's a great point in regards to, like, we're filming a show. However, based off just this season, I'm not going back to Lala's earlier seasons. She was definitely bullying Rachel during that trip.
Yeah, Katie as well. And I feel like, Katie has had like a really mean girl streak as well and stuff. So I get what she's saying in a certain respect, like you, Zach, and then like you, Kempire. I also see the other side, which is like, Lala, you got to own up to the fact that sometimes you do take things a little bit too far. You know, I feel like she'll have a vendetta against people and then just like go in on them. I remember when her dad passed away, for example. Do you guys remember that season? It was when she called Raquel a Bambi-eyed bee for, you know, just a lot.
we can't say the B word.
Can we say the B word on YouTube? I don't know.
I mean, I think you can, but who knows? You never know with them.
Exactly. They're always moving the goalposts. So how did you guys feel about the double standard? Tom says it was a double standard, something that he actually agreed to with Katie. I keep having to emphasize this. Tom agreed to this. He just kind of like backstabbed Katie when the cameras went up, that they could not like hook up within the friend circle. Now he's claiming it's a double standard because she, when she was single after they filed for divorce, started hooking up with random people that he didn't know. Is it a double standard?
I don't know if it's a double standard. I mean, I just feel like it shouldn't be a hard task for you, Schwartz, not to hook up within your friend group. It's not a huge group, and it's a huge city. I'm sure there's plenty of women or men you could have hooked up with that she would have been okay with. If she had a problem then, if you were hooking up with other people that weren't part of the friend group, then we could be like, well, that's some hypocritical BS on Katie. But you not hooking up with Rachel, it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard.
Right.
Especially
and he was like forced into doing it too. It kind of felt like maybe from like some other cast members or maybe production. Like it didn't even seem like Schwartz wanted to make out with Raquel, which I think was another reason why Katie got so upset, is because it was like, you say you're not even into her. So why are you doing this? Just to throw it in front of my face and torment me? So we have a storyline? Like that was what the issue was. So I was 100% Team Katie on the reunion. Like even when she's like, all I want is honesty and respect. I don't even think that she is being as strict on him as he thinks. Like he's like, if it's not your way, it's not like, I don't even think Katie's being like that. Maybe in the past she was, but I think Katie's really lightened up the past year. So Schwartz needs to just like be a man sometimes and just like have respect.
Their divorce is not over, oh, he cheated, and their divorce is because like they just grew apart. She grew up and he did not. And she was like, I can't deal with this anymore. So it's not like they have some reason where they just do not want to be in each other's lives. They were trying to be in each other's lives. And he was making it impossible over Rachel? That's not worth it.
It feels like he is the type of guy when it comes to Katie, he just wanted to torment her, whether they were dating or they were married or they were divorcing. This man's sole objective in life constantly when it comes to Katie is to make her feel as much pain as possible. And it makes you wonder why he hates her so much and why she accepts so much from him and wants to be friends with him and stuff moving forward. Like, for example, a big point of contention that led to the divorce was that he would stand up for anybody except her. And he showed that at this reunion when he came to his girlfriend, non-girlfriend, Joe. Didn't he threaten Katie with a cease and desist over her?
If she keeps attacking Joe in the comments, you're going to get a cease and desist.
Yes.
But I'm sure Joe is the one who's probably threatening that.
But what do you think it's fair that Katie is going in on Joe online, considering Joe's not in the public eye or involved in the public equation?
Good point. Good point.
Great question.
I don't know if it's fair. But I mean, it's the comment section. You can block people.
That's the thing. I feel like, fair or not, I don't think it is just based on the size of Katie's platform. But I could see why you would be so viscerally angry that this person that hung around you and your husband and tried to comfort you as you were divorcing moved straight into a home or an apartment with him and all that stuff without even speaking to you or anything like that. I could see why you'd be so angry that you don't care about anything at that point. Like that is also just dirty. Ugh.
If she was mentioned on the show, she was part of the storyline. So I guess it is fair game to give your opinion on her. But Schwartz is a people pleaser. And that's another one of his problems, is that he just wants to please the masses. He wants to please everybody. And I think that he wanted to please all his friends and the producers when he kissed Raquel. So I think that that's what also is the problem, is that he just tries to please everyone.
How about please your wife? Just say, how about we try that?
Person. I agree. So what was the drama about Big Bear? Speaking of that, and Joe and whatnot. So Schwartz claimed that it was supposed to be just them, two of them, him and Sandoval, snowboarding in Big Bear. James let us know a couple times Raquel hates snowboarding, so it was weird that she was there, and Joe was there, but they didn't want to claim it as a double date. What was that about? What do you guys believe at the end in that situation?
It was a double date.
It was shady. Ariana said it best. If the girls were invited, why wasn't I invited?
Exactly. But that's the thing about Ariana. It's like, you as a girlfriend who lives with this man, like, how are you not asking questions? They're taking all these photos and I think they're posting them online, or people are finding them at these places and taking pictures with them. You're not asking questions. Like, you need to be assertive. But I feel like, having been in this situation, sometimes you don't ask certain questions because you're not ready to know the answer. You're like, oh God, I know the answer, but I can't have this person confirm this.
I think that on the finale, it was like, there were moments where I felt like she just didn't want to know.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly. And that
you
does
still tell
happen.
her.
So I do want to ask you guys if you think Lisa Vanderpump is going to stay in business with the Toms, because she did tell Ariana, because Ariana said she'd keep distance from anyone who was, tight with them. She's like, if I blah, 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 stay in business with them, would that affect our relationship? Not, I'm going to definitively. What did you think about that?
But didn't she give them money back that they invested anyway? She already paid them out.
I wondered about that too. They're no longer partners, right?
Yeah. I mean, but it seems that, well, remember, they're on the show. So technically, they're still always going to be partner with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. Look, Ariana has every right to put boundaries in her life in regards to who's going to be in it. But let's be real. She's a part of LVP's show. So they're always going to have some sort of relationship. And she even confirmed that. They just won't be as close. Were they ever really close?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. They don't even follow each other on the gram, apparently.
Which is another weird thing that I don't understand why reality stars and celebrities, they're like, oh, I don't follow my boyfriend. I've just never followed him. Like, what do you mean? He's in your life. Why do you not follow him?
Exactly. No.
Because we want to have a separate life on social media, Zach.
Gotcha. Don't want to get caught liking things and whatnot.
So God forbid we're having issues. We're not going to have the issue of, we unfollowed each other. And then everybody reports back on that.
My God.
But yeah, I agree. Ariana's like, I'm setting my boundaries. We're not gonna be as close if you're gonna be as close to him. Period. Like that's it. I'll still respect you, but you're not gonna be my best friend. It's like you can't. It's like you can't. It's hard to be friends with someone that like is friends with your enemy. You're the person who did you the dirtiest. Yeah. Like it's just hard.
This is pretty bad.
Exactly. I feel like
I do agree with that comment too. I think LVP was giving a little pick me. I think that she inserted herself one too many times. I know that she kind of wanted to like bring it down. I think she wanted to be like the co-host for Andy, but I think she defended the Toms. She gave them way too much legroom.
I completely agree. We do have a super chat just before we roll out here. Thank you so much for the super chat, Cody. Cody says, do you think Raquel's autism plays a role in how she reacts and how Tom was able to manipulate her? I don't think it hasn't been confirmed that she has autism or anything like that. So I can't really speak to that. To be honest with you guys, I think Raquel is such an enigma because no one knows like what her MO is. I'm always wondering, is she this evil person? Because people are throwing labels at her autism or sociopath and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like she's kind of just empty. You know what I mean? And kind of just like floating around and doesn't understand that she's hurting people personally. But what do you guys?
Isn't that the definition of a sociopath?
I thought they were cognizant. I thought they meant harm. I had no idea. Because I just consider her.
We don't know if she's a sociopath. We don't know if she has some sort of. We don't know. But what we do know, her behavior is strange. And there is no accountability. There's no self-awareness in her behavior.
Yeah. I think she lacks self-awareness. I think she's really selfish. She's really thirsty for some Tom Sandoval dick. I think that she is just really confused about like what it means to be a friend, to be a person. I think she's just really lost. And I think that she could be fine. She, who knows what she's up to, right? She's disappeared. No one's heard from her for like a month. So I don't think she's going to come back, but that's just my opinion. I really think that she shouldn't come back and that she won't come back and that maybe like the next year they'll bring her back with some creepy music to confront people for like a scene. But I just don't see how she can move forward being a cast member after this.
Yeah, I don't see anyone filming with her.
What about Tom Sandoval? Do you guys think that he could come back? Because nobody wants to film with him except Schwartz.
See, I can see him coming back. I can see him worming his way back in with at least like a James or something like that to get some room. Or maybe we'll bring Peter in a little bit more because he has been there forever. He's eager for camera time, seemingly, especially lately. So that could be kind of interesting, although he does feel burned by Sandoval as well. So it would be complicated, but maybe they can be confronting him on camera. Yeah. Do you guys see Peter getting a bigger role?
No. If he would have got a bigger role by now. It's been 10 years. Like if there was more, there would be more. But also like I think that maybe they could still film with Sandoval where if they're filming like different scenes where it's like just him and Schwartz or just him and Lisa, and then maybe by like episode 3, Sandoval films with James and then they kind of hash it out. And then it's like the finale where they finally get him in the same room. Like we've seen that on other Bravo shows. Like you can kind of film separately for as long as you can stretch it out for half a season at least before there's like a big party. I mean, it's going to be interesting regardless. This story, everyone's invested.
And like Zach, I think it was Zach said earlier, Jax might be coming back next season, so it'll be interesting to see, you know, a confrontation there as well. You guys, thank you so much for joining us for this recap of Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1. It has been so awesome chatting with Kempire and Zach and you guys as well. Thank you all so much for all of your insights and everything. It's been a pleasure. I will be seeing you guys again next week for another recap of part 2 of the reunion. And I know that Kempire and Zach also recap Vanderpump Rules on their channels as well. So definitely give them a follow so you're able to keep up with their thoughts as well. Thank you guys also so much and see you next time. Bye.
Everyone.